Okay, and we're live. Thanks for registering. Thanks for showing up, guys. We've got a full house here today, and I'm really excited to get through some of this content I've got to share with you. This is super exciting. So I'm going to wait a few more seconds and then we're just going to crack straight on. I've got loads to get through, but I want to try and compress it into this hopefully within the next hour. So this presentation is going to be how to profit over $1,000 a day as an auto locksmith, and how you're able to buy cheap car keys worth $10 and sell them for as much as $350 to people who desperately need them. And this is not about scamming people or ripping people off. This is adding huge value to people. We're really helping people out when they've lost their car keys. And we're providing a really valuable service here, and people are going to love you for it. So, who is this for? This is for complete beginners with no experience. This is also for trading locksmiths who perhaps want to add this onto their repertoire. And this also can be done anywhere in the world. So, wherever you're watching this still works as long as there's cars there. And then this system I'm going to show you today will work. So, if you stay to the end, I'm also going to give you some free stuff. I'll email you my ebook if you haven't got that already. So I'll email that straight to you. I've also got some really other cool free bonus stuff as well. So make sure you stay to the end to get some of that. And if you don't mind just switching off your distractions, so your Facebook, your TV, this is a free webinar, and I don't know how many replays I'm going to have of this. So if you're watching this on a replay, um, obviously don't assume that this is going to be around forever. I will be taking this video down. So try to get the maximum results out of this. Just turn off your distractions and you're really going to love this content. Also at the end, we're going to be doing some Q&A. So if you guys have got any questions, just type it into the chat and I will pick it up at the end. I'm going to try and cover as much as possible in this, but there's always the odd question that doesn't get covered, so just put that in the chat. Again, if you're watching it on the replay, you won't be able to contribute to that, but you can always just reach out to me at alex@thelocksmithmentor.com, and I'll be really happy to help you. So yeah, if you stick around to the end for that. So at the moment, if you're confused, don't worry, it's not your fault. There's not many auto locksmiths that share this stuff. It is a very secretive industry. The stuff on YouTube will confuse the hell out of you when you're trying to piece all this together and perhaps research this yourself. It can just leave you with more questions than answers. I know because I've been there myself when I started on this journey. It can just be sort of information overload. The training centres will only show you what it's like working on the bench. They're not going to show you what it's like to be a real auto locksmith. They'll teach you classroom theory, but most of them have never actually gone out to a real job scenario. So that can also not help if you've been on a course and you're still confused. It's normal, so don't worry about that. Also the forums and the Facebook groups and the YouTube videos, they all speak in technical jargon and it's hard to just know what to do. So don't worry, I'm going to get through that in this presentation. I'm going to break this down into a simple 3-step system. And I was in your shoes once. When I first started out cutting car keys, I was shocked to find that all of my 10 years as a domestic locksmith was irrelevant. It was like starting from scratch. I quickly found out that being a car locksmith was a completely different ballgame to being a domestic locksmith. It was all new techniques. I hardly had any money when I started, so I had to build this business brick by brick, and I had no one mentoring me or any resource to refer to when I was stuck on a job. And that's really why I'm here for you guys, is to just, I guess, be your mentor and show you that it is easy when you actually know what to do. So really, I've compacted all of my year's knowledge into this presentation. So this really is valuable. So the reason most startup auto locksmiths fail is they get bad information from the internet, which is easily done. They get overwhelmed with course information, so if they've attended a real course, they just simply can't remember all the information and it's just too much to absorb. People often end up in debt or bankrupt. They might finance all of their equipment, and at the end of it, they're not even making the finance payments, let alone making a profit. So they can end up going bankrupt. They've got all the gear and no idea. They think that the more equipment they've got, the better they'll be, but it's not the case. I'm going to show you that you need minimal equipment, but you need more knowledge than equipment. So not doing anything is another one. So people just simply get too much information and they don't know where to start. They've literally researched for hours, been to courses, but they never make a start because they just don't know where to start or who to listen to and who to take the right advice from. Also, people get fear and anxiety of breaking a car. If you don't follow the right procedures, it is possible. But again, I'm going to show you once you've mastered this system, it's impossible to damage a car. People think you might scratch it when you're picking it, or you might actually damage the main ECU on the car and sort of lock the car out completely, but that's not possible with the system I'm going to show you. Training centres are not helping. You might have to spend 2.5 grand on hotels, travel time, and time out of work, and you'll get information overload. You won't remember half the stuff. Again, you'll only get theory taught. It will just be sort of picking locks on the bench. They're not going to show you what it's really like to be out there on a road, being an auto locksmith. Plus, they're going to pitch you the most expensive equipment at the end. Usually, they're on commission, and you won't always need all of that equipment, but they're going to tell you that you will need the full setup, which is not always true. So the reason I love this is it gives me the ultimate freedom lifestyle. I'm able to spend time with my family, partner, and friends. I've got no annoying alarm clock in the morning. Plus, I've got no boss or colleagues that I don't want to work with. I can choose my own hours and I'm able to travel whenever I want. And I've created my own money tap. So, for example, if I wanted to make more money one month, I can just offer more 24-hour jobs and I can just literally increase my earnings whenever I want. So it's like having a tap that you can just turn on and off. People are impressed with my business and profession. It does sound cool. When people ask me what I do and I tell them I'm an auto locksmith, firstly, they think I'm some kind of thief breaking into cars, but it is a legitimate business and it just sounds intriguing to people. And it's not unusual to have a small crowd around you when you're picking open a car, because people find it so fascinating and it's just a really cool profession. But most importantly, people now believe in me. When I told them I was going to start this business, I did struggle in the beginning, but now I've made it. People now believe in me. So the three big promises I'm going to show you in this presentation is how to build a ridiculously profitable side business or full-time income from home in as little as 2 weeks. And that's working 1 or 2 hours a day. You really only need to cut 1 or 2 car keys per day, and you're really going to crush it. Number 2, I'm going to show you how to buy cheap $10 car keys from the internet. You can get them from eBay and sell them for as much as $350 to people who desperately need them. And again, this is not ripping people off. This is providing huge value to people who have lost their keys in the worst case scenarios. And we're coming along and we're literally rescuing them. And we're so much cheaper than the car dealers that they love us for it. Number 3, I'm going to show you how to get customers lining up to throw money at you for these keys 24/7. That's even if you don't want them to. You may have to turn your phone off sometimes. It can get a bit too much. Or you can simply pass the work on to other auto locksmiths. If there is any in your area, you might be the only one. Okay, so who am I to teach you this? If I just tell you, if you don't know already, I'm Alex and I have a locksmith business in the UK and now in Spain. and I've been a locksmith for about 15 years. So if I give you a quick backstory, so I started out at 17. I started my own business at 25 and discovered auto locksmithing at age 30, which skyrocketed my income to over £800 a day or $1,000 a day. These are a couple of certificates, they're not important, but this is just to show you that I am qualified to teach you this, and I am a trading auto locksmith. I'm not just a teacher, I'm someone who actually owns a business and does this day to day. So I wasn't always the perfect kid growing up. I had no direction or ambition. I got in trouble with the police at times. I used to stay out late getting drunk. I had poor grades at school, and I just generally felt lost with no sense of purpose. I didn't really have any ambition. I certainly didn't think about being a locksmith. But one thing I did have was an interest in magic. Now, I started that interest when I was about 7 years old, and I often dreamed of becoming a professional magician, and I did end up being a part-time magician. Through my studies in magic, I discovered Houdini. I think my parents bought me a book on Houdini, and I just sort of studied this character and became fascinated with him. It was almost like a myth to me, didn't even seem real, and I just kind of became obsessed with learning more and more about him. And what I found out was that he actually was, to enable him to escape from all these jail cells and handcuffs and shackles, he actually apprenticed to a master locksmith who basically told him everything. And apparently Houdini had like a photographic memory, and he could visualize the locks in his mind when he was picking them. This became fascinating to me, and I read so many cool stories about him. He not only was able to pick the locks, but he had genius ways of sneaking keys in. For example, his wife Bess would often kiss him before he was about to start a challenge, and she would pass a key into his mouth as she kissed him, which I thought was amazing, really clever idea. And there's so many little stories like that that fascinated me. So I wanted to become a locksmith. Basically, I thought, perhaps it's a more viable profession than becoming a magician. So I managed to get a job at one of these dusty old key cutting stores you see. Mostly it was repairing shoes, but they done a bit of key cutting as well. This wasn't the actual shop I worked in, but it was very similar to this. And from there, I basically started to learn the craft. I started to cut keys, learn about locks. I went on to work for various other companies after that, um, you know, real locksmith companies, and I learned from some of the best locksmiths in the world working for those. But I was never really happy. I always wanted to start my own company because I realized how much I was making these companies in 1 week. In 1 day, for example, that would be my month's wages. So it was kind of a no brainer of me to set out on my own. And that's exactly what I did. I basically set up a website, a simple website, got myself a little van, and that was it. That was my business, and I absolutely loved it. But one thing I realised the moment I started this business is that I was getting calls every day for car keys, and I was always turning away all of these jobs. And I kind of thought, wow, I'm leaving so much money on the table. Why am I not doing this? So I started to ask around other locksmiths and say, why are you not offering this service? And they all kind of put me off the idea and said it's too expensive, too complicated, too risky. There were so many reasons they said not to do it. And this just made me want to do it even more because I knew how much business was out there as an auto locksmith and how much money is on the table being left there. And I just thought, this is what I'm going to do. So that was my epiphany moment. Customers were calling me. All the other locksmiths said it was too difficult. So I thought, wow, that means there's more business for me. So here's the main reasons they said don't do it. They said it's too complicated. That's not true. Once you master step one in the 3-step formula, the rest is just literally pushing buttons. Number two, they said it's too expensive to get started. Now, that's only if you don't know exactly what you need. You can just start off offering car openings, and then you can invest into the correct equipment. Now, if you go on one of those courses where they'll try and pitch you all the expensive equipment, then it can be expensive. But I'm going to show you how you can avoid that. Step 3, they said it's too risky, you might kill a car. Now, that again, that's only if you don't follow the correct procedures. Well, the way I'm going to show you, there's zero risk of damaging the car because this is a set procedure that works every time. So I realised how much money I was leaving on the table because there's hardly any competition. There's high earning potential. You could only cut one car key a day and you can make a really good living with this. It's a cool job. It's not labour intensive. You're just pushing buttons. With the domestic side of things, you can be sort of on your hands and knees chopping wood and sweeping up sawdust. And with this, it's just literally you're mostly sitting in the customer's car pushing buttons. There's minimal hours needed. You can just work 1 or 2 hours a day with this. It's very niche. You do become a master and a specialist. If you particularly focus on one niche, as we all know, a specialist gets paid more than a general practitioner. If you go to a doctor's, a GP, they get paid less than a brain surgeon would, for example, or someone who specializes in one area. They're the people who get paid the most. So that's what you really want to do, is focus on one niche and become a master in that niche. And people are always going to need your service. So when I discovered the 3-step system, after many sleepless nights, blood, sweat and tears, it suddenly clicked. And I just broke this all down into 3 simple steps, which we're going to get into in a moment. So ever since then, I only work 2 or 3 hours a day, which means I get to spend the rest of the time relaxing at home in Spain or on the beach. I travel when I want, which means I'll get to see the world before I start having children. I've been able to take this same business model and emigrate to Spain and set it up from the UK, which means I now live in the glorious sunshine, eat good food, and surrounded by positive people. And I will more than likely retire before the age of 50 because I would have saved enough money to live on by then. Plus, my friends and family take me more seriously when I say I'm going to start a business. So, my life has changed dramatically since I discovered this. And just imagine what your life would look like if you could just cut. We're going to do minimal here, just one car key a day. That's $350 a day. This would be a monthly income of $9,800 or a yearly income of $117,600. Imagine you could just work 2 hours a day from your vehicle, giving you ultimate freedom and time to spend time with your family and loved ones. You'll be able to master a unique skill that you'll be praised for when you're helping someone out of a bad situation. So this really is at providing huge value to people. People are going to love you for it. And you won't have to spend the next 15 years working all this stuff out, because I'm going to show you in this presentation. And you'll feel proud of owning your business, and you'll have the ability to tell your boss it's over. So if I'm going too fast, guys, just let me know, but we are going to crack on with the content. So the absolute fastest way to get to $1,000 a day is just simply cut 3 car keys. So 3 lost car key jobs at $320 each. That's $960. And if you just gain entry to one vehicle, if the keys are locked inside a vehicle and you open the vehicle, that's $100. So your turnover for that day would be $1,060. Take out your expenses, say $30 for keys. That leaves you with a total profit of $1,030. Maybe you want to take your gas out of that. It could be around $30. Then you still got your clear $1,000 profit per day. And that's where we like to aim for. And this is very reasonable. This is probably, you could do this all in a morning. You could do these 3 jobs, say it would take an hour each, depending on the locations. If you could get to them all fairly quickly, You could have this done in the morning, 2-3 hours, and then you could wrap up for the day. Or you could, if you want to earn more money, you could, depends how much work you want to put into this. You could perhaps work an 8-hour day, and you can see the potential in this business. So you don't have to stop at $1,000 a day. You can offer a 24-hour service if you want to do night work. And you can also bolt on domestic locksmith into your business. Perhaps you're already a domestic locksmith and you want to add this on. Or you want to do both. Perhaps whilst you're starting out, you want to learn all about different locks, and you can certainly add on domestic locksmith into your business, and you can certainly fill in the gaps, and you'll just have two businesses in one, basically. So what is your why? For me, it's more than the money. It's not just the money I do this for. For me, it's for when I picked open my first vehicle lock and I heard that click and I just felt it open. And ever since then, I've been chasing that buzz. It's almost like an addiction, and I just absolutely love it. Each time I pick a lock, I still get that same buzz. Or it could be when I first heard the phone ring with my first business. Um, Again, to this day, I still get that same butterfly feeling when I hear the phone ring, because I know it's more money coming to me. Plus, I just really enjoy the job. So you have to ask yourself, what is your why? Beyond the money, obviously the money is going to be great doing this, but if you don't love it, maybe it's not for you. For me, I live and breathe this stuff. I love picking locks. I love the feeling of when it clicks open and everything, and I just love the whole business structure and the freedom it gives me. So you have to ask yourself, what is your why? Beyond the money, don't just do this if you want to make some quick money. This is not a get rich quick scheme. You will have to master this craft. But once you get there, you'll be really proud of yourself, because it really is a unique skill. So let's get into the content. This is the 3-step foolproof formula to becoming an auto locksmith. So the 3 steps are simply pick and decode. Number 2, we cut the car key. 3, we program the car key. Now that might seem too simple at this stage, but I'm going to get into why it's just these 3 steps. We're only ever dealing with these 3 steps in any part of this business. So let's first show you a visual of that. So we got step 1, picking and decoding the vehicle. Step 2 is cutting the key. Step 3 is programming the key. Now I'll just sort of show you why it's only 3 steps. So let's say a customer locks the keys inside their vehicle. At that stage, we're just using step 1. So we're coming along, we're picking the lock, opening the door. That's all we're doing. That's step 1. Let's say another scenario is a customer wants a spare key done. We don't have to do step 1 because the car's already open, we've got the key to it. All we're doing is step 2, we're just copying the key by cutting it, and a bit of step 3. We have to program the key, but it's more straightforward. So let's say the third scenario is the customer loses all the keys to the car. There's no other car key that exists that they can find. So here we're using all 3 steps. We're coming up to the vehicle, we're picking and decoding it, we're cutting the key, and then we're programming it. So this is where we're going to focus on scenario 3, but I'll get into that. So picking and decoding, what we do is we download an app which is called the Lishy Tool Selector. So let's say we have a Ford Fiesta 2006. We just type that into the app. That'll tell us exactly what Lishy pick we need. These are called Lishy picks on the right here. We select the correct pick. We go up to the vehicle and we pick the lock firstly. So these little lines you can see here, what we'll do is we'll insert this pick into the lock, and we'll use those little arms to move along those notches till each notch clicks into place. Once you've clicked the final notch, the lock will open. This is a set procedure that we follow. And this isn't luck. We're not relying in any way on luck. This is a set procedure that always works to pick locks. And once you know the procedure, the lock will just pop open every time. So we follow that. Once the lock's in the open position, we then use the arms to record the depth of each cut in the lock. Then we write that down using a pen and paper. We write the code down. Then we simply take that code, the decoding information, and by the way, that decoding information is the same as the vehicle, as the ignition lock. So the door and the ignition obviously work off the same key. So once we've decoded the door lock, that's most of the work done, because we've now got the information for the ignition barrel. So we take that information, we type it into our automatic key cutting machine that you can see here, and you just type your decoding information into that. We insert a blank key into the machine, press start, and that will cut the key for us. As you can see, this is all pushing buttons from now on. Very simple. We'll put a little transponder chip in the key, and then we program the car key. What we'll do is plug one of these into the customer's vehicle. We'll select which car it is. Sometimes it will automatically tell us what car it is, and we'll select that car, and we'll just press. Normally it will say, would you like to program new key? You just say yes, and that's it, done. So how can you sell $10 keys for $350? So that's what we're going to get into. Firstly, I'm going to go back over the 3 scenarios. So number 1, we're going to be doing vehicle lockouts. So just gaining entry to vehicles when the keys are locked inside. So that's just step 1, very simple. Scenario 2 is when the customer wants a duplicate key or a spare key. They've got an existing key, they just want a copy. We tend not to bother with them because there's not much profit in those jobs, and it's best to leave those for the locksmiths who have a shop and they're based in one location. Customers go to them for the copies. It works out better for both people that way. We focus on scenario 3, which is providing a lost car key to the customer when all the keys have been lost to the vehicle. This is how we can charge $350 per key. Now this little key here, you could get that on eBay for say less than $10. Once you put your little transponder chip in there, it comes to around $10, and we're going to be able to charge $350 for that because we've actually done all that process. We've picked and decoded the door lock, we've cut the key, we've programmed the key. So this is something the customer's never going to be able to do in a million years. And if they go back to their dealership, it's going to cost them a lot more than what we offer. So that's what we do, is we focus all our efforts on lost car key replacement jobs. And that's how you're going to create your own money tap in this business, by focusing all your efforts on scenario 3, which is the lost car keys. So here's a little tip: when people call you, you always emphasize the speed and convenience you can get to the customer, not the price. So you tell them you'll be there in 20 minutes and they'll be back on the road within an hour. Now let's take 2 scenarios. Let's say a customer who loses all their keys, they go back to the dealership. Now the dealership, if when the customer calls them, they're going to say, okay, firstly you need to tow your vehicle to the dealership, which is going to cost money. Then they're going to have to leave the car there for say 7 days, which is going to leave them in a really tricky situation. They're not going to have a vehicle for 7 days. Perhaps they'll have to hire a new car for that week. Then they're going to charge them, upwards of $500 for a new key. So let's now take the scenario: the customer calls the auto locksmith, which is yourself. You come along within the hour. You're able to do it on the roadside, so there's no tow fees, there's no messing around waiting, and you have that customer back on the road for $350. Now, who do you think they're going to choose? They're always going to choose you. So that's what you need to do, is just market yourself to be cheaper and faster than the main dealers, and it's going to be a no-brainer for the customer to use you every time. And you market this to your customers and you'll never go broke again. This is going to be your own money tap. So, like I said, when you want to do a bit more work, you want to do 24-hour service, you can just turn this up whenever you like, and you'll really be crushing it with this business. So if I'm going too fast, guys, sorry about that. It's just so much to get through. I'm just going to take a sip of water. You're all still here on the live call, which is great. Again, if you're watching this on the replay, thanks for tuning in and watching it. And we'll get into the rest of the content. So, if you just promote this on your website for maximum results, so you become a lost car key replacement specialist. Okay, you don't offer duplicate car keys. There's not much money in that. Well, there is, but not as much as you can get with the replacement car keys. So you become a specialist. You promote yourself as 100% cheaper than the main dealers. You offer fast roadside response with no tow fees, no waiting around, and the customer's back on the road within the hour. If you just put that on your website, you're already, set yourself up as much more attractive than any other option. So to get a constant flow of paying customers, most of your work's going to come through Google. So if you can focus yourself on getting to the top of Google, someone types in auto locksmith and your area, or car key replacement and your area, that's where you want to be showing up, and that's where most of your work's going to come through. Now, this isn't a presentation on website optimization, but I'm going to show you an amazing way to get your website to the top of Google to be able to basically turn this money tap on really quickly. I'm going to show you that in a little while. So here's 3 common myths about auto locksmithing. People think you need a license or a qualification. That's not always true. In the UK, you don't need any of that. In the other countries that do require a license, you can just set this up as a auto repair service. You don't have to say that you're a locksmith. Just say that it's you service locks and things like that. And that's what one of my students done to get around it. You can also just do what it takes to get the license. You can see how much money's in this business. Hardly any competition, so just be the first one to do it. This information I'm giving you certainly going to give you a huge boost, and if you can just get that final stage to get that whatever you need, then just do it. My advice, but don't let licenses and qualifications stop you. What you really need is skills and knowledge. So myth 2, people think this won't work in my country. They say because I'm from the UK, the cars are different. Now the process is always the same. Maybe the key programmers, it's going to be in a different language. But the step 1 where we're programming the key, and step 2 we're cutting the keys, and step 3 we're programming the keys. It's really that simple. So most cars on the road are European, and most of the cars we're dealing with, people often tell me, the brand new cars out you can't cut keys to. That's true, but that doesn't affect me, because the brand new cars that are coming out, where someone spends 50 grand on a car, they're not worried about spending, a few hundred going back to their dealership, because they've already spent that amount on the car. Whereas we're dealing with the other 95% of cars out on the road, the huge second-hand market as well. That's who we're dealing with day to day. Myth number 3 is people say people don't use auto locksmiths, which is not true. That even if people have got insurance for their vehicles for lost keys, the insurance companies will actually use you. They don't tend to have their own auto locksmith ready on call. They'll just call the nearest one, and then you can charge them a bit more. It's coming out of a big insurance pot, so I tend to charge a bit more anyway for those jobs. Plus, the AA have called me many times. They get stuck on jobs because we'll actually be more advanced than the AA with these methods. And you will be shocked at how many keys are being lost in your area today. Even today, there'll be many people losing their keys. So, let me ask you a question. If you knew exactly what equipment to buy and how to master step one, would it be worth mastering this system? And how many keys would you cut per day at 350 each? Now, I said to get to that $1,000 day, you would have to cut 3 keys. But would you stop there? How many keys would you want to cut per day? That's the question I wanted to ask you, and just have a little think about that. I know a lot of you at the moment are probably feeling like this. It's kind of like too much information to take in at once. And there is basically too much to go over in this live presentation. It's quite detailed, but I wanted to pack in as much as I could. But if you guys have got 10 more minutes, I can show you an offer I've put together that will show you exactly how to start this business from home today. If I've got you guys' permission, then I'll show you that offer that I've put together. Only if you want to. I already know how to do it, so I don't need to see it. But if you guys want to see it, put in the chat. Just put something like yes or whatever. Can see yes. Do it, Alex. Please, please. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Looks like you guys want to see the offer, so if you hang around for 10 more minutes, I'll show you the offer I've put together that makes this so simple that you won't want anyone else knowing about this, because it's just such a great business model and so easy to set up as well. So here's the 10,000 foot view of the business. We have our website. Someone calls you, you come out in the vehicle, cut the key and get paid. So the best part about this is this 3-step system I've designed is basically designed for people with no experience whatsoever. You don't need to have any experience as a domestic locksmith, and this is so fast and easy to implement that you'll have this set up in a couple of weeks. Now, the 3 benefits to this system is you can learn it from home, so you won't need to spend a fortune traveling to any course. This is not an in-person course. You won't have to pay for hotels, which means you'll have more money left over to invest in your equipment. You can even start off on a small budget by completing simple jobs such as the vehicle openings. So then you can put all your profits back into the business, and you can grow without having a huge upfront investment. You'll be able to set this business up within 2 weeks, which means you'll have a very decent side income or full-time income working just part-time hours. And you don't have to stop at part-time hours. You can work however you want. This is going to be your business. You can decide how many hours you put in. So 7 more benefits is you'll learn all of this from home. You can watch the training back if you forget anything. So if you actually attended a real course, you would have to rely on either really good notes or being able to remember anything. With this, I'm going to show you, you'll be able to watch the training back whenever you like. You're going to know exactly what tools to buy, so you won't spend a fortune on equipment that you don't need, that's been pitched to you. Once you master step 1, you'll be 90% of the way there. I'm going to show you how to make this flow like a well-oiled machine. You'll learn from a real trading auto locksmith, not a teacher. So, this is coming from someone who does this every day, who's out on the road dealing with real scenarios. Plus, you're going to be in a friendly community with other beginner locksmiths like yourself, and you're going to get so much knowledge from them. Plus, you're only going to spend a fraction of what you would at a training centre. Now, remember, I've been in the locksmithing game for 15 years, where I went from cutting keys and repairing smelly shoes to being mentored by some of the best locksmiths in the world, and went on to run my own auto locksmith business, which now makes me more than 200 grand a year. And I've also taught my skills and business tips to hundreds of students around the world. So let me introduce you to the Auto Locksmith Blueprint. Now, this is a 3-step system online video course which goes through these 3 steps in depth. You're going to get 10 videos all on the picking and decoding and the cutting keys and programming, all in depth. So you're going to get instant access to the 10 videos. You're going to get them all online, so they're not live, they're all pre-recorded, but you're going to actually see real scenarios of me going out to a vehicle, picking and decoding, cutting the keys and programming the keys. Plus I'm also going to give you plenty of theory behind it, and it's just going to be all you need to get these 3 steps mastered. You could go right now and go to YouTube and start trying to find all this, but it's going to take you a lot longer. Plus, you don't know if you're getting the right information. But I know a lot of you guys are starting out this as a new business. This is, perhaps you don't already have an established business of any kind. So I'm also going to give you a business course. This is 10 more videos all about setting your vehicle up, what equipment you need, how to set your website up, how to get more work, bookkeeping, taking payments, resources, and your future, and how to maximize your career. This is a huge amount of value, and this is just alone should be sold separately, really. But you're also going to get that. I should be charging around $1,000 for both the business and the practical course, but don't worry, you guys are not going to be paying that today. In fact, you're not even going to pay the usual price, which was $594. That's how much it was set out for, but you're not going to pay that because you guys are on the live call with me today. Again, if you're watching the replay, this still stands. I want to make this worth your time, so you're going to get all of this. You're going to get, on the left here, you can see you're going to get the business and the practical course. The value of that is $594. You're not going to pay that. You're also going to get access to the private members Facebook group, which is worth $97. There you'll be able to share tips and strategies, and you'll be able to learn so much from the other members. I'm going to give you that as well, which is worth $97. You're also going to get the free ebook, which is basically how to set your own locksmith business up. In fact, I'll give you that for free, even if you don't take up on this offer. I'm going to email that to you. You're also going to get this free gift, which is the Vault, which is a huge amount of locksmith articles, all sourced from all different parts of the world. This is stuff that's only usually circulated amongst organisations such as, locksmiths associations. You're going to get all of those articles sent to you as well. Finally, this is, I'm pretty crazy for doing this, but I'm also going to chuck in the complete domestic locksmith course, which is worth $197. You're also going to get that. So if you want to bolt this on to your company, or perhaps you want to start out doing domestic locksmithing and then you want to move on to auto, or you want to just go all in and do both like I do, you're going to get that course worth $197. Now the value for all of this is $947.99. But you're not going to pay that because I'm building a movement at the moment. I want more people in my Facebook group. There's only a few members in there at the moment, about 20 or so. I want to get more members into that group, so I'm offering this whole package at an introduction price. You're going to get every single thing. You're going to get all those courses for $197 today. So what you're going to get that practical course on all the 3-step system to auto locksmithing. You're going to get that full business course, which is going to show you how to set this up, what equipment you need, how to set your vehicle up, how to set your website up, how to get it to number 1 on Google to get all the paying customers. You're also going to get access to that Vault, which is a huge amount of locksmithing material. You're also going to get the ebook emailed to you. It's worth $10 on Amazon, but you're going to get that straight away. You're going to get access to the private members group on Facebook, where you'll be able to get so much knowledge That alone's worth $197. Plus, you're going to get the full domestic locksmith course, which is usually sold separately for $197. You're going to be getting that totally free. So you're getting 3 courses plus all the bonus material for just $197. So you're saving yourself about $800 here, or 800. This is a crazy deal. This is only for you guys that are watching this presentation. If you're watching the replay, this offer will still stand. I don't know how long I'm going to keep this video up. One thing I do know is when I hit 50 members in that private Facebook group, I'm putting these price back up to its original price. So you won't be getting access to this full package for $197. This is purely an introduction price to build up the Facebook group. I want to build it up faster, so that's why I'm offering this. So there it is, guys. I'm also giving you guys a 30-day money back guarantee. So for $197 for the first 50 people, there will be a button below this video. So if you hit that button, you'll get access to that. I'm also going to give you, obviously, the 30-day money back guarantee. Plus, this is all protected by Stripe. We don't store your credit card details. We use Stripe, which is the highest grade payment processing. So don't worry about that. It's all totally safe. I've never had one person take up the refund, because this is the value you get from this. Even if you just done the domestic course and you done 2 lockouts, you would pay for the cost of this course. So if it will be rare to get a refund, but if you do, just email me at alex@thelocksmithmentor.com and I'll just give you your money back, no questions asked. And it's that simple. So quick Q&A time. I'm glad to can see some of you have already jumped on that button, so thanks guys for watching. Don't worry about this link. I'll put a button below which will make it easier for you guys to go and grab that course, and like I said, it is only available to the first 50 people, just to build up the Facebook group. So let's see what we got on here. We got Jack that says, why is this so cheap? Like I said, I want to build up a community in the Facebook group. I really do want some valuable members in there. So this really is for action takers, this price. I want to see the really keen people. And I know that the people who are keen take action faster than the others. The people who think about it for 2 weeks and they're never going to do it. So I want action takers, people are really going to snap this opportunity up and see what how it's so valuable. And that's the main reason why it's so cheap at the moment, is to build up the members. So let's see who else we've got on here. We've got Milton. I think that's Milton. Guessing that's your surname, or could be some name I've not heard of. But yeah, you've got on here. So I'm from Australia. Do you know about the rules here for getting a license? Unfortunately, I don't. That's one struggle I did have with putting this offer together, was, do I try to offer a qualification or a certificate? It's simply not possible, because I've got students from all around the world, and in each state, in each country, it's different rules. So it really is impossible. But just take this knowledge and run with it, is what I say. Don't let these things stop you. And you can always just, if you need to, you can just do what you need to do to get that license. Let's see what else. And what exactly do I need for the auto equipment? And that's from Tom. Well, part of the course package is, I actually reveal that in the course. So I give you the full list of equipment you need, what's working for me, what's working today. It's all currently updated. So that's not something I really can give out now, but like I say, if you want to jump on that price for $197, it's a steal. And just for that alone, if you paid the 197 and just got the list of equipment you need, you could then get that equipment and start. You once you master step one, you know exactly where to go from there. So it's quite simple. But this course is going to give you so much more than that. And it's just going to be, you're really going to cut your learning time by 15 years or so. Let me see. Most of these questions I have sort of covered in the course. So if you guys want to grab that, again, I don't know how long this offer will still stand. If you click on the buy button and then it goes back to the normal price, I'm sorry. But we've hit the capacity on Facebook, so we're not offering that anymore. But I'm going to make a move now, guys. Thanks for watching. Really good to see we had a full house here today. And hopefully I'll see a lot of you new guys in the Facebook members group. And speak to you soon.